Next on our agenda will be citizen comments. If there's anyone who cares to speak to the council tonight on any subject not included in our public hearing, feel free to come forward. We'll start with Robin Seville.
It's been the longest hour and 45 minutes or whatever it's been to get up here. I appreciate it. I'm glad I wore a tie. My wife's watching and my parents are watching in St. George. Steve, Linda looked better there looking straight at her, but it's good to see you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Bob and Matt, and to the City Council. I know one of the agenda items was postponed, and that's fine. I had some things that related, but some don't necessarily. I was just curious, maybe I'm the first, has any city employee stood before the council or towards administration and expressed concern of kind of the morale that's going on in the city? I don't like to be that one to do it, but I feel endeared to the mayor, to the city council, and as a citizen of Sandy City and as an employee, I have some real concerns. The morale is low. Bottom line is it's low. And I've seen a lot of finger pointing. I certainly haven't been perfect in many ways, and I talked with the mayor and Matt about this a little bit today. I'm not sure 100% of what can be done to fix this. I haven't heard anybody, including myself, expect that the other side is at fault. I think that's human nature, and that's probably normal. I had a meeting with the mayor today, and he expressed some concerns of something that I had said to an employee, to where that person could have said something to the media that would have been hurtful to him. And he said, I've thrown him under the bus, and Mayor, I apologize for that. I do have concerns, and I have at times myself felt a little thrown under the bus, and I've shared that. And it's not so much about me, but the 600 employees approximately that I've seen something that is just scary to me. If we as employees do not feel confident, or we worry about our jobs, or we worry about closed-door meetings and situations that hurt our future, we are not delivering the best to the citizens that we strive to serve. And that's my main concern tonight. And that's why I decided to speak, because I know what I felt, I know what I've heard. I've heard the concerns of the administration today a little bit in part, and I better understand that. But the bottom line is, regardless of who's right, I can't deny what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling and phone calls that I've received. And I'm not trying to be the person to speak on this and be the one to be the cheerleader on this, but we have a great community. And I worry that this community is being negatively impacted because there's so much infighting and worried. When people are close to retirement and they're worried about they could lose their job, and I hear that from department heads as well, something's wrong. Been here 20 plus years, and they're worried about losing their job. Whether that's accurate or misunderstood, I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I do know it's a real problem. And I hope for whatever time I may or may not have left with the city, that I can do my best as an employee and, again, right the wrongs that I may have made. And I appreciate all of you, I really do. And that's all I want to say. My time's up. So,
Thank you, Robin. We appreciate that.
Let's see. So there was a question about employee morale. And I wanted to try to read this word for word so that I don't... Let me see if I can find the actual question. So Connie Carter, she wrote last night, what response do you have to Robin Seville's citizen comment at City Council meeting regarding morale and employee dissatisfaction? What do you attribute the uncertainty and division in the departments to? I believe this is a feeling felt by citizens as well. Perhaps you don't feel any responsibility in this sentiment. So, thanks for asking, Connie. My first recommendation would be to not believe everything you read and watch online, especially from a disgruntled employee. So let me just start head on with Robin. So Robin's been an employee here for about 3.5 years. He was hired into a position as a development officer for Sandy, so his primary job was raising money for like the Arts Guild and the amphitheater, things like that. That's a job he openly doesn't like doing. He expresses that, and over time he's tried to leverage his skill set as a photographer into kind of being the city's part-time photographer. As a result, we've lost funding on those art projects and programs, And so rather than try to take some kind of performance management route with him or corrective action for his underperformance, I thought it would be a good idea to sit down with him and our HR staff and finance people and figure out what options we have. How can we make him successful? What job would he like to do here in Sandy, and what can we make available? We had 3 meetings with him on that. I bent over backwards to try to give him options. If he wasn't happy here, I offered to pay him severance and be a great reference for him if he wanted to go somewhere else. I don't know of another boss who, when you're poor performing, comes in and says, hey, don't worry about your current job, let's find you a job here where you're going to be successful. I don't understand how that contributes to low morale. On top of that, I had 4 department heads specifically, Bill O'Neill, Nick Dirkskin, Tom Ward, and James Sorensen, come up to me after the council meeting and say, we absolutely don't feel what he expressed, and our departments don't feel that way. I do take all of these allegations seriously, so I've asked all of my department heads this week to go throughout their departments, talk to employees, try to get a sense for what they're feeling, and report back to me next week at our cabinet meeting. If employee morale is an issue, I definitely want to address it. Personally, I've been out amongst all of our employees. I've had 4 different brown bag lunches at our different buildings. I've had attended almost all of their different division meetings and things like that. I've overwhelmingly heard from employees that they are super excited to work here, that there's a different feel, a different vibe. They feel comfortable trying new things, expressing how they feel. They don't feel like they're going to get negative repercussions for expressing things, ideas, ways to do things better. I've had an employee ask me to officiate their wedding, which I thought was pretty cool, which I don't think they would do if they hated working here. So I haven't experienced what you